Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Shabbat Show. The opportunity to bring Shabbat home into your lives right now. It's an honor to be back. I think this is the 9th week. Can you imagine? We've been doing this for more than 2 months together. For those that are tuning in now for the first time, welcome. For those that have been back before, thanks for coming back. It's an honor to be with you and to share this moment of the week with you. This is one of the most exciting moments, at least for me, for the whole week. It's that time as you can sort of feel Shabbat coming. The train is entering the station, whether we like it or we don't. It's that moment before. And it's so special that we have the opportunity to do it together. And I thank you for that. And I welcome you to the show. And what we've been doing these past few weeks is really identifying different aspects of Shabbat. Nothing that we do in Judaism is because. We don't do rituals because somehow that God needs us to do rituals. That's like when my kids say they're doing homework for me. We do things for us. God has us do things because he understands how to bring out different aspects of ourselves, of our lives, and everything that we're doing has reasons, and everything that we're doing around Shabbat has all of these opportunities for spiritual growth, for family connection, for greater insights and wisdom for our lives. And if you've been with us for the past few weeks, we've really gone down the road together. We did Kiddush a few weeks ago. We did Hamotzi and the bread. We did the meals last week. And now we're up to in a unique period of Shabbat, which is the Havdalah service. Now, Havdalah really takes place at the end. And for many people, they think that what Havdalah is the end of Shabbat. It's like the farewell. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe Havdalah is not the end. Maybe Havdalah is the culmination, right? The fourth quarter isn't the end of the game. It's the culmination of the game. The last 10 minutes of that drama that you're watching on a screen, the last scene of a movie isn't the end of the movie. It's the culmination of the movie. Maybe what Havdalah really is the culmination of the entire Shabbat experience. See, in the physical world, strength goes down over time. If you're doing push-ups, you do it strong and then you start to lose it. In the spiritual world, it actually builds over time. The highest moment of Shabbat, of Yom Kippur, is the Ne'ilah service. Spirituality is building and building and building. Maybe, just maybe, Havdalah is actually the culmination of what we've been trying to accomplish the entire Shabbat. So what is Havdalah? Why is it so important for? Havdalah is Hebrew for separation, for distinction, the ability to distinguish things. What's so interesting is that if you want to understand if someone has wisdom versus knowledge, how do you discern between someone who knows a lot than someone who's a wise person? Where does that come from? What's the difference? Is it someone who can spit back information? Is that a wise person? What is the indicators of wisdom? So one of the most telling signs of a wise person is not just what they memorize. It's their ability to make distinctions. The difference between somebody who can tell, when I look up into the sky and I see clouds, everything looks like a cloud to me. But if somebody studies if someone's a meteorologist and he looks up into the clouds, he's able to make distinctions, to separate between this type of cloud and that. How come? Because he has greater wisdom of that area. When a doctor walks into a home and the kids are sick, to a parent, coughing sounds like every other cough. They can't distinguish between this cough or that cough. But a doctor has a little more wisdom. He's trained his ear to hear things. And because he has more wisdom, he has the ability to make a distinction between this cough and that cough, between this cloud and that cloud, between this property and that property. between friend and really looks like a friend, but maybe not. That's why the Talmud teaches us that as one gets older, wisdom follows, because wisdom really sometimes comes by experience, by being able to be mindful about life and seeing the distinctions in the way we live our lives. Maybe, just maybe, the culmination of Shabbat really is a certain way of seeing the world. We're going to explore that together with you right now. Havdalah is not just a 7-minute ritual that happens to be at the end of Shabbat. No way. Havdalah is a moment. It's the culmination. It's the climax where we gather up what we've accomplished, where we look at the Shabbat experience and we start to grow from it, where in many ways it gives us the thing we need to go back into the week. So we've got a great show. We've got incredible speakers. We got Rabbi Mordechai Becher, who is on. Rabbi Becher is a world-renowned rabbi who I've had the opportunity to watch for years. An incredible speaker. He's coming up, right? He's going to be coming up on the show you don't want to miss. We have Gevura Davis, an incredible, inspiring individual from Philadelphia who will most definitely inspire us. We have a great student who's coming on from Olami, from Louisiana, that's coming on, Shira Kaplan. We've got another video coming up from Jamie Geller. We've got Kahoot, because I know you guys are competitive. We've got an incredible show, so stick with us to the end. And we're going to really be able to explore this together, and hopefully when we leave, be a little bit better than we were when we come in. A couple of things just as before we get rolling over here. Don't forget to like this show on Facebook and Instagram and share it with at least, if you can, a friend or two. A lot of people that we think would benefit from this, but they don't know about it. But you can share it with them. Take a minute, share it with somebody. And the Project Inspire team of social media experts will see it. I don't know how, but they will. And they'll enter you into a raffle and ultimately be able to win Amazon $50 gift cards each and every week. Remember also, we have our one-on-one learning program. This program has started to take off as people from the show started to tap into it. Anything you want to learn about. I mean, this is the book of wisdom. This is the book of distinctions. This is the book where we can become different people. These are the moments. This is a one-on-one program where you get to tailor make what you want to learn. If you want to find out more, text one-on-one, numerical number 1, ON number 1 to 97000. Text one-on-one to 97000. Also, really importantly, coming up right now is a feedback survey. We've been doing this show for over 2 months. We want to hear from you. We want to hear the stuff you like. We want to hear the stuff that you want to see more of. We want to hear how you would make this better. We want to hear what you want to keep. So do us a favor, please. Go to projectinspire.com/Shabbat page. And we're going to also, we have a raffle for that as well. Of course, every time we ask you something, we got to give you something back. So you'll be able to really have the opportunity to able to tap in and be able to fully understand. We can fully understand what it is that you want so we can make the show better and better. Before we move on to our incredible guest, let me just take a minute to start wishing Shabbat Shalom. It's one of my favorite parts of the week, as you know. For those of you who are watching this on Facebook, thank you so much. For those of you watching it on Zoom or on Facebook, wherever you are, we're going to try to get to as many as we can. The opportunity to just give somebody Shabbat Shalom. I got to tell you honestly, I live in a community with a shul that I adore, with people around that I adore. And ever since this virus came and all the synagogues have been at best at half capacity, one of the great misses in my life is that feeling of seeing people that you know and just wishing people Shabbat Shalom. And not until the show that we get to do it here to the people that are wishing us Shabbat Shalom on through the chats or through Facebook, do I feel like I'm really back. So thanks so much. And I want to wish a couple of Shabbat Shaloms. And if you want, chat us and we'll try to get to you throughout the show every once in a while before we bring in our first guest. So let's begin a little bit of Shabbat Shaloms to Hillary and Lawrence Hess from Fairlawn. Again, Shabbat Shalom. Thanks so much for being on. Ken Salkover, Skokie, Illinois. Shabbat Shalom to you and thank you. Rivka Mansour, Shabbat Shalom from New Jersey. Thank you. Thank you, Rivka. Rivka Tyler, who is Patriots Rock, by the way. Just giving everybody, for those who've been here before, you've seen Patriots Rock literally rip up Kahoot. She's on fire. She's outed herself. She's Rivka Tyler from Baltimore. So for anyone here's Baltimore, you get a lot of pride from Rivka. Rivka, it's good to speak to you. Good to see you. Shabbat Shalom from you. Shabbat Shalom to Beverly Maurice from North Carolina. Shabbat Shalom to Ozzy from Baltimore, to Aviva G. Liran and I spend every day together. Liran, Shabbat Shalom to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Novak residents, the Shabbat Shalom from Toronto. Okay, there's already a competition going on against Patriots Rock. Rivka, I expect some real competition going on. For those who are not on the Zoom chat, we're already starting the competition, which we love here. Roger, Shabbat Shalom. The Silver family from Highland Park, Shabbat Shalom to you. To Roger Matlow from Southampton, Shabbat Shalom to you. Laurie Solomon and the family from Suffern, Shabbat Shalom to you. Okay, here we go. We're ready for our first guest. Our first guest is Shira Kaplan. Shira Kaplan grew up in a small Jewish community in Alexandria, Louisiana. She graduated from Tulane University in May 2009 with a bachelor's of fine arts in music performance, a bachelor's of science in psychology, and a minor in Jewish studies. During her junior year, Shira studied abroad at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Post-pandemic, Shira will be starting work at the Creative Artists Agency, CAA, a massive talent agency in New York. Shira, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. An honor to have you on. Now, I understand that you come from a very unique Jewish background. You grew up in a small town in Louisiana with 60 Jewish families. Tell me what it was like to grow up as who you were. I understand your parents were pillars in the community. I'm sure you had an incredible amount of responsibility early. Tell us a little bit what that was like.
For sure, yeah. So our synagogue has been lay-led since after World War II, which has been a huge amount of responsibility. But my parents, even though our city is rather Jewishly isolated, my parents have instilled a lot of Jewish pride in my siblings and me, a huge amount of love and care for the Jewish people and responsibility for them. And so it's been helpful with our Jewish identities. My siblings and I were the only Jewish kids at our high school. So you have this sort of pressure to answer all the questions that your non-Jewish friends have, to be the sort of like answers for everything. And then of course, davening every Friday night and delivering Divrei Torah. But my junior year, like you said, I studied abroad at Hebrew University in Jerusalem with a program called Thrive Israel, with Rabbi Adi Isaacs and Moshe Knecht. And that was incredible.
Wow.
It really changed the way I looked at things. I still get so excited seeing people with kippot all around me.
When I understand, one of the things that I think people don't fully understand that I know that you do is just what's available to us around us, right? The level of resources, the level of opportunities. I think, people that live in much larger Jewish communities don't really fully appreciate that. I can only imagine someone that lived in the community like yours, where you may have felt like so isolated from the larger Jewish community and not really able to access. But I think one of the things that you've spoken about or about is this idea of just what's available out there. Talk to us a little bit about when you realized that.
Yeah. So I had never really experienced a real Shabbat. So once I got to Israel, I was in, I was with the Knechts and the Isaacs, having just meaningful disconnect to reconnect over Shabbat. And I realized that I was so energized, recharging my Jewish batteries. And I realized how special and magical that could be. And so with that re-energized feeling, I was able to come back to my campus and share all the things that I had learned without taking so much of myself to give them over.
Amazing. Now, speaking about Havdalah, I understand that your father has a thing for Havdalah. Is that true?
Yes, he does. My dad loves Havdalah. I have a lot of fond childhood memories of it. And it's like in my life, I've always tried to find balance. And I think Havdalah does an amazing job of connecting endings to beginnings. I always hated endings as a kid, but I realized that Havdalah is not an ending, it's a beginning. And like you said, it's a culmination. It's a beginning that's fueled by an ending. And that's so beautiful, just to try to find that sort of balance in our lives.
What a great concept. I'm the same way, by the way. I hate endings. I hate saying goodbye. I hate last days of camp, like the whole thing. I just can't do it. But what a great concept in which you've just described, which is Havdalah really is, it's connecting the ending to the beginning. You never really say goodbye. It's a very Jewish concept that we live in circles. Jews always we dance in circles, we live in circles. We're always in circles because we always recognize that An end is the beginning is the end. Shira, it's an honor to have you on the show. Thanks for who you are and what you do. And may you continue to spread your light to the entire Jewish world. Thanks so much for being on our show today.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. That was, Shira, that was great. And every time that I get to really meet people, and it's amazing wherever you are, they're proud, awesome, phenomenal Jews. Shira and her family holding communities together, bringing it up. It's such a great honor to meet them. And I really want to give a shout out to Olami, where Shira has been connected to. You know, Olami is an incredible organization with 320 branches across 30 countries. Olami is inspiring students with Jewish wisdom around the world and introducing them to Shabbat. And Shira was one of those students. So thank you for Olami for what you do. Now we're up to a great video we found we want to show you. It really is a great Havdalah rendition. It's with the Maccabees and famed cantor Naphtali Herstik. Check this out.
הנה כל ישועתי, הבטח ולא אפחד, כי עוזי בזמרתך השם, ויהי לי ישועה, ושאבתם מים בששון. Yeshua, L'Hashem
amazing. I gotta tell you, my favorite part of that video, besides the music and the whole thing, I don't know about you, but I love seeing all of us in different places doing the same thing. It's something so sweet about that. And it never gets old for me. It never gets old. Never. Seeing us all over the world, dispersed, still the same. Previous generations, future generations, vertically, horizontally, we're one nation, and it's awesome. You know, I want you to just bring something out. It's interesting how we have that candle, right? Usually we have this custom, it's not a rule, but it's a custom to shut the lights and put on the candle. Why would we do that? Think about that. What is it about that candle that's so critical that we highlight it? A couple more Shabbat Shaloms before we get to the next person. First, I want to go a little bit to my Facebook page and thank those that are on there. Alana Perlin, Shabbat Shalom to you. Dorian Hausman, Shabbat Shalom to you. Thanks so much. Sharon Leduc, Shabbat Shalom from Virginia. Shabbat Shalom, Shlomi from Jacksonville, Florida. Shmuel Shayowitz, incredible guy. Shabbat Shalom to you. Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen is one of the people that I love most in this world. Ben Cohen, Shabbat Shalom to you. Deborah Cohen, Shabbat Shalom to you. On the chat over here, Roger Matlow from South End, we said Shabbat Shalom. The Solomon family from Suffern, Shabbat Shalom to you. Leah Perrell, good to speak. Good to hear from you again, Leah. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom from the Southampton Kosher Kitchen. Shabbat Shalom to you. Sarah Miller, Shabbat Shalom. Arya Mack from Passaic. Henya from Toronto. Eric Hirsch. The Hirsches are back. Lisa and Eric are back from Fairlawn. I know we got representation in Fairlawn, that's for sure. Shiri from Mountain View, California. I'm loving this. You guys are coming back every week. Please keep on coming back. From Lily Tripp from Quebec, Canada. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom from Lisa Weber from Muncie, Pomona. From Michelle Reichner from Suffern, New York. Shabbat Shalom, the Medetsky family from Houston. And the Leah Schaffer and Aviva Himmelstein from Toronto, from Thornhill, Ontario. Shabbat Shalom. One more, Linda Barrett from Buffalo. Shabbat Shalom to you. We're getting ready for our next guest. For this next guest, her evangelical Christian cheerleading coach in Georgia gave her detention for not coming with the rest of the team to church. She started wondering why being Jewish mattered at all and landed in Israel, making Aliyah, marrying a rabbi, and deciding as an adult that Judaism may have a lot more to offer than bagels and dreidels. Everybody, please welcome Gevura Davis.
Thank you, Charlie. It's so good to see everybody. Coming from Georgia, not too far from Louisiana, Shira, I did not know a lot about Havdalah growing up. I hadn't really seen a Havdalah service. And sometimes when I first kind of got on the Jewish scene and saw everyone making Havdalah, it looked like the ritual seemed so different, so foreign. Everyone was like holding their fingers at a different time and holding the light at a different time and then smelling something. And I kind of felt like, I didn't know what was going on. And it seemed a little bit hard to fake it, but I would always just stand in the back and hope that no one would notice that I wasn't quite up to speed on the Havdalah rituals. So I wanted to talk about a few of those aspects of Havdalah and maybe explain a little bit of the deeper reason. So for so many of us, Shabbos is the peak time of spirituality in our lives. It's the time where we're able to pause, take a step back, and stop being humans doing and just being humans beings. And it's hard because always when Shabbat ends and I hear Havdalah, I start to feel a little bit anxious because I don't want that feeling to end. I don't want that calmness and that stillness and that peace of mind. And it's so easy on Shabbat to feel more connected and more aware of God and more at one with my family. And Havdalah comes and suddenly I'm like thrown back into the world as I know in the real world. And as Havdalah comes, I think, oh, my to-do list and my spreadsheets, and I have to start doing all, cleaning up and all the things, getting back to the real work of life. And I feel a little bit sad. And I think that aspects of Havdalah really teach us how to avoid this. So when we light candles on Shabbat, we have two separate candles, at least two candles separate. As you might have learned by now, some people have the custom of lighting one candle for each member of their family, but we start with two separate Shabbat candles. And the Havdalah candle looks a little bit different. It's a multi-wicked candle. And Jewish law teaches us there has to be at least two intertwined candles, and everyone holds it up. The person who's making Havdalah holds it up, and we all look at our fingernails, and that's a beautiful part of the service. So what is going on? Why are the candles different on Friday night versus Saturday night? Why a different type of candle? So I think that one thing we all feel a lot is that Shabbat is different. And sometimes it feels like, you know, that's the part that we really want to connect to. And then we have the rest of our lives, errands, carpools, all the things that we think are separate from Shabbat, separate from our Judaism. And we can sometimes feel a little bit at war with them. One aspect feels so uplifted, and the rest is just the mundanity of our lives. And I think that looking at it like this is a mistake. Sometimes people talk about work-life balance, and now and what's the implication of balance? That we have these two competing sides on a scale, and one side could be heavier and the other side could be lighter. And sometimes it feels that way with our spirituality, with our Jewish identity too. We have the Jewish part of us and then the rest of us, or the rest of our week and the rest of the things going on. And interestingly, psychologists, instead of using the term balance now, like to call it work-life integration or work-life synergy. And I think the same is true with our Jewish identity. When I was starting to learn more about Judaism, I used to walk from Emory University to the religious neighborhood in Atlanta. And always as I would cross a certain bridge, I would feel that pit in my stomach because I was leaving my Judaism on that side of the river and then crossing over back to sorority life, back to campus life, back to a world that seemed not so Jewish. And it always felt like there was a huge separation. And it was hard for me. And I feel that way still now. And Havdalah, we can learn a lot. The message is in the details. It doesn't seem so different. Okay, 2 candles versus 1 candle. But our sages tell us something extraordinary, that by the end of Shabbat, we're supposed to unite those 2 aspects of ourselves. And we're supposed to feel at one. Now, how do we do that? How do we balance the Jewish aspect of our lives and the non-Jewish or seemingly mundane aspect of our lives? Shabbos is the antidote to that. Because if you look at the things that we do on Shabbat, they're not that different than what we do during the week. We have a beautiful meal, we drink wine, we might pray, but those are all things that we do all week long. I have not nice meals at the table, but I have meals I eat all week. But Shabbos is different. Shabbos is a time that we take those things that seem so ordinary, so secular, like eating bread, drinking wine, and we learn how to infuse them with meaning, with spirituality. But does that have to stop on Saturday night as soon as we light the Havdalah candle? No. The goal is to synergize the 2. The goal is to integrate the 2. But it's hard because it feels like they're so different. It feels like there's such different aspects of my lives. And I believe that what we have to try to do is unite them. And with that, it takes intention, because those barriers, they're only in our minds. Those things that separate us from spirituality, they're self-imposed barriers. And what we need to do, what we strive to do, and this is one of the greatest challenges of my life and for so many people, is we need to stop seeing all those things as those things over there, the non-Jewish aspects of my life, like my job and errands and grocery store. And we need to see that those are really opportunities for elevation. We can become focused people who really yearn for spirituality and who really say, I can bring God, I can bring Judaism into all aspects of my life. I can be a nicer person. I can be a kind person. When I'm in the grocery store just shopping for all the things that I need to get, there's different ways of doing it. I can either smile at the people. I can be courteous to the cashiers. I can try to donate that extra $1 for charity that they ask you every time you go to ring up. And I think that what we learn from this is that everything can be holy. And the goal is to make everything holy, is to integrate everything in our lives. So as we look at the candle, what do? We look at our nails. Why our nails? Because the sages tell us that our nails are the only part of our body that's always growing. It's constantly growing. And that's what we want to do as well. We don't want to be Jewish people that are just Jewish on the weekends, or people who are only engaged in mitzvot when they're official mitzvahs that we see. Rather, we want to take everything that we do in our lives, all of our daily interactions, the way we speak to our children, the way we put our children to bed, the words that we say to our neighbors, how we look at other people, and we want to make all of those things holy. And we learned that from Havdalah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kavura. An incredible, incredible approach to Havdalah, the integration of who we are. We appreciate who you are and what you do, and thanks so much for joining us on the show. A couple more Shabbat Shaloms that are coming our way before we get to the Kahoot. I'm just giving everybody a chance. Kahoot.it, we're about to start that next. I'm going to wish a couple of Shabbat Shaloms. Let's get the Kahoot game on. And we're going to go to some more Shabbat Shaloms as we start loading that game. Okay, before we start Kahoot, Shabbat Shalom to Jen in Georgia. You let me know when the Kahoot is on. Shabbat Shalom to Suzanne Rubin. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to Nolan from Miami. Shabbat Shalom to Lily from Montreal. Thank you so much for coming on the boost, Rivka Mansour. Appreciate that. Shabbat Shalom to Harley and Gail Cohn of Cleveland, Ohio. Good Shabbos from the Simons of Phoenix. Good to see you guys again. Thanks so much for coming on. Okay. Here we go. I think we're ready for that Kahoot game. 299-2115. Kahoot is coming on right now for those that are playing. As we start to load the people up, let me just get a couple more Shabbat Shaloms in. And shouts Shabbat Shalom. And Aaron Zwig from Las Vegas, Shabbat Shalom to you. Let's give it 2 more minutes as people come on. There's some real competition going here. Patriots Rock has been literally rocking through these, although these questions are going to, Patriot Rock 2. I don't know who that is. Patriots Rock 2. We've got, I think the Simons are going to be on. We got a couple people coming on. Ken, I know, is going to be jumping on. Okay, here it goes. Everyone ready? We have everyone ready to play? Let's do this. Okay, let's get started. Here it goes. The most common grape used for wine in the U.S. occupies almost 92,000 acres across the country. Is it Cabernet Sauvignon, Concord, Pinot Noir, or Chardonnay? What is the most common grape used for wine? While we wait 13 more seconds, let me wish a Shabbat Shalom to Rita from Denville, New Jersey. Helen Middleman from Toronto. Okay, here goes. First answer is the Cabernet. The Cabernet. Let's see how we do here. A lot of people went with the Concord. Score begins with Avigdor Novak stepping in, the Hess family, RM and the Hess family. Okay, here goes number 2. Now remember, everything we're doing, we're theming around Havdalah. That was the grapes. Now let's talk about the candles. How many candles equals a 60-watt light bulb? 8, 70, 600, 4,000. How many candles equal a 60-watt light bulb? 17 seconds left. David Rosner, Shabbat Shalom from Rockville. Ruth Sussman from Miami. Juliet Landitzman from Brookline, Massachusetts. Shabbat Shalom to you. Ari Mack, Shabbat Shalom. Here goes. 4 seconds left. Get it all in. Okay, let's see what the answer is. 70. 70. Okay, let's see what's happened to our scoreboard. RM steps in. Stace, Avigdor, and Ozzy with Toronto family right on their neck. Remember, each of these things are connected to Havdalah. We got the grapes. We got the candles. Let's talk about Havdalah in general. Next question. What does the word Havdalah mean? If you were paying attention at the beginning of the show, you should know this answer. Answer quickly. It's over. Prosperous days ahead. Separation or no more food. If you were paying attention, these are the points to those that come in early. This is called the first mover advantage. You came in early. This is how we open. The Lakins from Cleveland. Shabbat Shalom to you. Hugh Fiber, Shabbat Shalom from Manalapan. Goldie Baum, Shabbat Shalom to you. Shira Eshel, Shabbat Shalom. Okay, here goes. It was separation. Very good, everybody. Let's see what this did to the leaderboard. RM, Ozzy, Toronto, Avigdor, and Phoenix, Arizona is now on their back. I have a clue as to who that is. Last question, answer quickly. You get points for speed. What is the speed of light? 65,000 miles per hour, 65,000 miles per second, 186,000 miles per hour, 186 miles per second, which is 21 seconds left for the Kahoot game. Remember, you get prizes, email Project Inspire, and then you get you prizes. We've been delivering prizes every single week. Barry Cohn, Shabbat Shalom. Binyamin Stolov, Shabbat Shalom. Aryu Mack, Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to Malka K from Chicago. 5 seconds left. To Judy Riback from Northbrook, Illinois. Shabbat Shalom. Here it is. 186,000 miles per second. Let's see what this did to our board today. Let's see if we have a new champion of Kahoot. Third place, RM. Welcome to the game. Phoenix, Arizona steps in huge. They were 5 last round. And the winner is Ozzy. Ozzy, welcome to the game. Runners up, Mark and Liz. Welcome to the game. There's a new champion this week. I am sure Patriots Rock will be back stronger next week. And thanks so much for playing. We found this incredible video. We've been talking a lot about Shabbat and distinctions, candles. Notice that it was dark. A lot of times we turn the lights off by Havdalah and we put it back on afterwards, but we use that candle because what happens is we're using the candle to see. Sometimes when things change in your life, you can see the world very differently. Sometimes the darkness, if you will, the opportunities that are in front of us changes how we see the world. Check out this new video that speaks a lot about vision and how we can change how we see the world. Amazing how that happens in life. Vision, seeing something, taking a perspective, and how it can change who we are. Distinctions, being able to see something that was always right in front of us. It's amazing when the lights go off sometimes. That candle gives us a perspective we didn't have earlier. That's what Havdalah can do. It can make us the people that we're meant to be. It can give us the sight to use our hands in the ways that we always should. Remember to join one-on-one learning, text one-on-one to 97,000. We also have a great program coming up this week. If you know, Project Inspire has been killing it the whole time. They've been working round the clock to make sure that there are programs for each and every person, and every night there's something. This week we've got a great program. It's actually back on popular demand. It's called Ask the Rabbis 2, with 3 incredibly inspiring, insightful rabbis, Rabbi Yitzchak Feldheim, Rabbi Gav Friedman, and Rabbi Dover Orlovsky. It's all taking place this week June 30th and 31, and June 30th and July 1st at 9 o'clock. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. Go to projectinspire.com for more information. We're up to now an incredible speaker, an incredible rabbi, someone who I have watched, learned from for years, someone who has this incredible ability to take an encyclopedic knowledge in something, mix it with humor, mix it with wit, with smarts, and bring it all together in a package. It's an honor to welcome Rabbi Mordechai Becher. Rabbi Mordechai Becher is a Rebbe at Yeshiva University. He's an alumni rabbi at Neve Yerushalayim, and he's a lecturer at Gateways. Rabbi Becher, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here. Great to see all these people here. Absolutely amazing. Havdalah is an incredible event. And as you all mentioned, it is not an end of something. According to Maimonides, one of our great sages, he says it's actually a form of sanctification. You're supposed to say words. The Torah tells us to remind ourselves about the holiness and the beauty of Shabbat at its beginning and at its end. So we're really reminding ourselves what Shabbos is about at the beginning and at the end of Shabbos. So words and the blessings is the first component and the most obvious component of Havdalah, to remind ourselves of what we are participating in, to remind ourselves of what we love about Shabbat. We do it with wine. Wine is significant. As we're about to enter into the week where we are working and we are engaged in the rat race, which the rats usually win. So we could be a little bit despondent. But wine is there to remind us. You see, wine goes through a process of fermentation. It starts out of grape juice. Grape juice is not that good. You know what I mean? Juice boxes for little kids. It's sweet. It doesn't have any of the depth, the aroma, the bouquet, all of the aspects of wine. They are obtained through a process of fermentation. What happens during fermentation is the wine actually is sour. It's not really drinkable during that time of fermentation. But the end product of struggle, the end product of the fermentation is something absolutely fantastic, wine. And hence, on our special occasions, we use wine to remind ourselves the idea that yes, there is struggle, yes, there's fermentation, yes, there are times when it's rough, but the end product of that is a good Cabernet Sauvignon, is a good wine, and that's what Shabbat. And we also, customary, to overflow the cup. We pour in the wine so it overflows, to teach us that that blessing that we got from Shabbat will overflow into the week. As was mentioned, we also have a candle. Why a candle at this time? Well, the Talmud tells us this is actually the time that God gave human beings the ability to make fire. Adam, on the first Saturday night of creation, God gives him the ability to strike two flints together and to make fire. That's fascinating. As opposed to the Greek myth of Prometheus, who had to steal fire from the gods and was punished for that, in Jewish tradition, we are told that God gave us fire. He wants us to use technology. He wants us to improve ourselves, to improve the world. He wants us to have power. But that power, it's important to note, should come after a realization of the purpose of that power. And hence fire symbolizes also the work week. It symbolizes technology. It's the basis for so much of our technology. And as Rebbetzin Davis pointed out, we reflect the light on our fingernails. The Code of Jewish Law says, look at your fingernails. Why the fingernails? Many explanations of this. The Zohar, which is the great Jewish mystical text, tells us that fingernails are the part of the body that reflect light much better than any other part. And it reflects the light of Shabbat. What we are told, and that's the hands are the klei hama'aseh, means the utensils for action. We do actions with our hands, and our hands must reflect the divine light of the soul. What does that mean? Our actions must always be actions that if you look at those actions, you can, so to speak, see the soul. Those are actions that don't conceal the soul, an action which is egotistical, self-centered, etc. Someone puts on their indicator and you speed up because you're in New York to prevent them from merging. That conceals the soul. They put their indicator on. You slow down so that they can merge. An act of incredible kindness in New York and New Jersey. But if you do that, you've now shown a reflection of the light of the soul. It's the fingernails reflecting the light of the candle of Shabbat. And we also smell. I didn't mean that to offend anyone. What we do is we take some spices and we smell those spices. Fantastic, beautiful idea. What's the idea? First of all, we know that spices revive the person. You know, someone, you know, and the Talmud actually tells us that we lose a certain level of spirituality, the extra soul, extra amount of soul, and the spices revive us. But how do they do this? I think one of the ways they do this is that the sense of smell is very much connected to memory. Sometimes you can smell something and it conjures up a whole range of memories just from that smell, just from that, wow, that scent, incredible idea. And as opposed to many other things, it lingers. It can linger for a while. And the idea of the scent of Shabbat lingering for a long time, the scent of Shabbat always with us during the week, reminding us of the beauty and the wonder of Shabbat. And we, of course, combine all this with blessings, which is the sense of sound. We hear the beautiful song. We say the beautiful blessings. We really involve all of our senses in Havdalah in an attempt to take all that beauty and that holiness of Shabbos and to give us hope for the week, to give us hope for our work, to give us hope when there is struggle, and to tell us that there's always a lingering effect of Shabbat. The scent is always with us. I'll just end with, I had a beautiful Havdalah. I was in Amsterdam at the last time I traveled out of Passaic. It was actually to Amsterdam in January. We had a wonderful Havdalah, which was done in a stairwell of the hotel. Everyone was lined up around the different stairs, and we had people singing all the way up. And it reminded me that's what Havdalah is. It's an ascent from Shabbat to ascend to the next Shabbat. And from the next Shabbat to ascend to the next Shabbat, up that beautiful spiral stairwell with all the voices singing. And so with that, I want to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom and have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos. And thank you for having me, and we'll see you.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you for those incredible words. What a great image we can take with us, that ascent, that awesome spiral staircase as we ascend up. Thank you for your incredible words. A couple more Shabbat Shaloms before we get to Jamie Geller. Shabbat Shalom to the Seidels from Baltimore. Sarah Miller, I think is the one behind RM. So congratulations on that victory. And Shabbat Shalom to you. Well, 2 or 3 more. Ricky Weinstock, Shabbat Shalom. Murray August, Shabbat Shalom. And Ben Tripp, Shabbat Shalom. Okay, time for a segment that is one of our most popular. Everybody knows Jamie Geller, one of our partners here. She is inspiring everybody, and her videos are really, really bringing so much joy to so many people. Give your attention to Jamie Geller.
Thank you, Charlie, so much. And hi, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be back. Honestly, this is one of my favorite times of the week. To be bringing in Shabbat together again with you is such a joy, such an honor, and such a pleasure. Now, since the episode this week is all about Havdalah, and technically you don't eat at Havdalah, you can eat before and you can eat after. But at Havdalah, there is a certain part of the ceremony in which you smell the besamim, the fragrant spices, and that's there to comfort the soul. So the besamim inspired us this week. They are typically made up of cloves, myrtle twigs, or cinnamon sticks. So we present you this week with an amazing recipe for cinnabobs. Those are kebabs on a cinnamon stick. They're just a little bit sweet, a little bit smoky, a lot delicious, and very classic here in Israel. I think you're really gonna like them. So when you make them, think of me. And when you smell the spices at Havdalah this week, think of me too. I'll be thinking of you. Shabbat Shalom.
Awesome. Jamie Geller with another incredible recipe for us to follow over here. For more great videos, please go to jamiegeller.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, at Jamie Geller, at Julish by Jamie. So in the beginning, we spoke a little bit about this idea, and I want to just close it out now and wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. You know, this idea of what Havdalah is, why it's the culmination, how do we know that it is really the climax of Shabbat? One of the most important things that Shabbat gives us is perspective. What happens is when you work every day of the week, you know, our brains are geared to survive, right? Greatness is the choice. It's the system override. And one of the great ways in which we survive is we're able to navigate in the weeds of which we live. That's why if you've ever seen a movie and somebody dies in the movie and you may find yourself crying, why? The person who died won an Academy Award for dying. They got a $5 million bonus because they died better than anyone on screen. They're doing well in some mansion somewhere, and you're sitting in a room and crying, even though you know they didn't really die. Why do we do that for? Why do we sit in front of a television sometimes, pick a team that we like that we didn't even know beforehand, and by the time the game is going on, we're screaming at the TV that the foul call was wrong? It's because our brains are built to be in the weeds of life. That's how we navigate through, and we very quickly lose perspective. You see people fighting in families over stupidity. Maybe it's a small little offense, and they lose perspective that they may win the fight. They're going to lose the war. This happens all the time. Why? Because our brains are living in the world. One of the greatest challenges is that God says to us, 6 days a week, you're going to work. You're going to work. Like Rabbi Becher said, this isn't like you're supposed to use technology. You're supposed to change the world. God created an imperfect world perfectly because he wants us to be partners in that creation. No matter what we do, whether it's raising children or teaching people or doctors or lawyers or carpenters, that's our job. Fix the world. But what happens along the way when we start to fix the world, we start to get lost in the world. We start to get lost in this world. And we lose perspective. What's really important? What am I learning from my life? Where am I going? You see, we have the wisdom. The Torah teaches it to us. But the more we learn, the more we sharpen. But what we have inside us is a piece of ourselves that comes from the divine. We have wisdom that's built in. We just can't tap into it because life is going so fast. It's like trying to have a conversation with somebody when you're running fast on a treadmill. You can speak, but when you're running so fast, you can't get the words out. When we live in a world and we're being tasked with being a part of this world, and then we put on everything around us, life is moving way too fast for us to gain wisdom. We run the risk of just doing things again and again and again and not really changing in how we see the world. It's just too quick. I'm the same person a decade later. Where did the year go? Where did the week go? Is it already the summer? Wasn't it just summer? What Shabbat does, Shabbat is an exercise in perspective. God brings you to the day and says, I need you to stop. I know the world can't survive without you. I know you think if you can't put on that phone. I get it. Trust me, I built the place. Trust me. It'll be fine. Take a deep breath. It'll be fine. Let go. It'll be fine. We walk into Shabbat and we make the Kiddush and we make the Havdalah, we make the Hamotzi, and we're beginning the game of wait, God runs this world, and we're starting and it's beginning, sanctifying our foods, and we're beginning, and all of a sudden we go into a day that was designed for us to tap into the depth of ourselves, a day that we can think, a day where we can slow down, a day where we can get perspective, a day where we can look back on our week and go, wait, was that right? Was that right? How do I feel? Should I have done that? A day where we put more in the hands of God, and like Rabbi Becher said, reveal more of our soul. Like Gavur Davis said, how do I integrate the Jew in me and the lawyer in me, the Jew in me and the teacher in me? I don't want to be two different people. I want to be fully integrated. How do I do that? How do I gain perspective? I want to be wiser this week than I was last week. That's the journey of Shabbat. That's what takes place when we're done with our meals, during our meals, when we have a couple more minutes to relax, when we have a couple of more minutes to read and to study that we couldn't during the week, when we take a walk around the block with a family member, we're deepening our perspective. And when you deepen your perspective, you gain wisdom. You're able to distinguish differently. You're able to see things that you didn't see before. The candle lights up the darkness where it didn't light it up before. And as Shira said in the beginning of the show, it's not the end of Shabbat, it's the beginning of the week. That's why it's the culmination. Because the goal of Shabbat isn't to be a destination. The goal of Shabbat is to be the beginning. I'm going to give you a secret. For those who say the Lecha Dodi, there's a line where we say about Shabbat, we say, Sof Ma'aseh. It's the last deed, Umachshava Techila, and it's the first thought. In fact, the rabbis teach us, the whole week was really for Shabbat. Shabbat's the beginning and the end. It's the end of week 1 and the beginning of week 2. And that bridge is Havdalah. The bridge that takes place, that connects week to week to week, is Havdalah. It's the moment where we look back on what we've accomplished, and we look back on what we've learned, and we realize that we're getting a little bit wiser, a little bit. We start to see the beauty in things differently. We start to be sensitive to the, so to speak, the smells and the tastes, to the world around us. And when we take that candle, we hold it up in front of us, and we use it to light up our darkness. That's the challenge, but that's the grandeur of the Shabbat. So for me and mine, to you and yours, I wish you a restful, thoughtful, and insightful, one filled with perspective, one filled with the time that you need to see the world that's in front of you. Some of the greatest things in life are free, and some of the greatest things you want in life are right in front of you, but we just can't see them when you go 100 miles an hour. On Shabbat, we see them. May you have a wonderful Shabbat. I hope next week we get to do this show live from Jerusalem with everybody together, but if not, with God's help, hope and pray to see you then. So I wish you and yours good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom.
We together call it shoot. With every generation, they take one, raising the haters. Then I shim hit the pavement, blazing the safest. Then the world asks where they went. Patience are faithless. The Torah gave the whole world a facelift. If hatred is baseless, we take it, erase it, and exchange it for that master goal. We don't forget wherever we may go. There is only one place we know, and it's called Zero.
Pieces and you're just falling down, falling down. I'll pick you up, and if you feel like you're outnumbered on a battleground,